the conclusion, discovery. We started off, we were trying everything to stop over the top, and we found through Harry Vardon, and he's 45, that you could do that, right? So Harry Vardon's 45. Go back, watch the videos. I've not got enough time in this video to show you the genesis and all the stuff in that. But basically the 45 angle, the 90 degrees, it's all there in golf. And when Ben Hogan has his 5 lessons, there's shows you the planes. So he's there, and he's got 3 planes, right? Most players, believe it or not, Ben Hogan, for example, was about 6 planes. Mo Norman, as just an example, Mo Norman was an exception. Mo Norman was 4 planes. Now, I know there's a few of you out there suggesting that Mo Norman was single plane, and Bryson DeChambeau is single plane, but he's actually 4 plane as well, which is still highly unusual. Most golfers are 6 planes. So, we don't really see that, but in Ben Hogan's 5 fundamentals, there's overhead ovals, and they're all 45 and 90s, which ties into Vardon's 45 and the 90. Right, but what we're going to discuss now is, that's your first stage, right, to stop over the top, and the quickest way to do it. But there's something that was missing from that, and obviously the pivot we discussed is as simple as walking forward. If you can walk forward, people talk about your gait, that's the way you walk. Well, that is the way you will pivot. It's just that you're walking on the spot, right, and keeping yourself in balance with a vertical throw, the vertical drop driven by the knees. But here's the last piece of the puzzle, and it's the best way to learn it, right? Learn the Vardon 45 and the Hogan 45 first, then learn the vertical drop through the knees at the same time, and the third and last piece of this magical jigsaw is the hands. Now, we all know you need to have a fundamentally sound grip, but if you get your hands, put them out with your thumbs like that, go like that, and drop them. Okay, so you've got this thumb going that way, and this thumb going that way. And there you go. That's the third thing you need. The ability to have the club in your hands, knowing that this way for the backswing, and as you come through the ball, this is what's happening. Okay? Now, that gives you incredible hand speed, and it accelerates your arms as well. There's no mystical mystery of how the heck does Rory get 33 miles an hour hand and arm speed when the tour average is between 19 and 21 miles an hour, right? Because if you think about it, it's a good one. A fulcrum point or a pivot point, the end of the club, right? So that end of this club is your fulcrum and pivot point in the golf swing. Now, you need to get your club, that's why we've been showing you holding it in vertical position, because you need to get it through your fingers of both hands, and then essentially like you're holding a case in here, and then grip it, okay? I like to use the overlap grip. Okay, so now you've got it in the fingers of both hands, right? There's a lot discussed about this, picking up suitcases, but what does it give you? Well, what it gives you, if you hold the club here, because you can't see it down there, but this is what happens. So backswing, we're going over here, remember? Our thumb was going this way. Now, as we come down, everyone talks about like throwing the golf club. We'll grip it down a wee bit so you can see the end fulcrum point better, okay? There you go, end of the grip, right? Remember, you're swinging, so the body is in motion. But why do you think pros warm up like were exercises that are like this? Because this is actually what happens to square the club face. And 9 times out of 10, if you overdo it, you're going to draw it or hook it. But you won't cut it or slice it, because this ain't a cut or slice. A cut or slice is actually a hold off, okay? And the modern swing is actually saying that you could hold it off and use body rotation to square the club face. And I'm going to tell you now that if you want to hit the ball any distance with less effort but more distance, you're going to have to employ the fulcrum, which is the end of this, because if you hold the club off, you are losing a lot of power, and we're going to show you that. So the fulcrum point as you come down, this is backswing, fulcrum point, there it goes into the middle, which is obviously impact, and then it's going full release over, and then that's you up to the top. But look how far that actually moves. If I do this out here, so here's how far does that club head move with me just doing that. And that isn't even like a long club. The longer the club, the actual more leverage and fulcrum that you're getting. Now, how does this blend in? Well, if you're swinging and your shoulders are moving back with your pivot, yeah, and then you're pivoting through, right? Back and pivoting through. If you get that move there, as well as your pivot through, you can imagine how much extra speed you're going to generate. You're going to times it by huge amounts. And that's the final piece of the jigsaw. Now, even on small shots, unless it's like a open face out a bunker or a flop shot, right, you can employ that fulcrum point, so you will be more in control, because you won't have to swing back as far with your shoulders to hit the ball as far, right? That's how these boys are all hitting these wedges. I know the lofts are cranked, but because they're using a fulcrum and the pivot point, which is the end of the grip. So how to use this in your golf swing is wherever you line up with the club and the ball on your body. Now with irons it will tend to be pretty much down the middle. Driver will tend to be a wee bit more forward. So your fulcrum point, you just have to know that your vertical line is wherever it is on your body, and the fulcrum point is there. You stop the butt at the fulcrum point, and then the fulcrum point goes that away, right? So it's wherever the line is, if it's a driver, so it's there, bang, square, bang, you know, it's on the fulcrum point and on the line. So you draw the line up. It's quite easy to see it once you get the hang of it. It's ball position, you know where the ball is. The fulcrum point of this is here, with the hands and the fulcrum point of the club. It's why the club is designed the way it is, as a lever. So if you're not using this, and you're using like a hold off or a locked hands, you have to have an incredible fast body rotation to put any actual power on the ball. Whereas if you watch the old swings of the day, Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, Mike Austin, they were employing that fulcrum as much as they were employing their turn. So everything blended down the vertical line, and then that just increased the efficiency of the strike and the speed of the club and the hands and the arms. So in effect, your arms were going fairly normal speed-wise, right? So if we remember, we're here and the fulcrum point's here, right? So if we swing down to like halfway, Hogan's elbow's in here, he was as much going like that as he was turning, right? Now, when you start to do this, do it fairly medium to slow, right? And you'll be like, first of all, it'll freak you out how straight and how high the ball goes. And as you then time it better and speed it up more, you'll realise that this is the missing link to like how to actually strike a ball, right? All other sports use it. Tennis, you know, it's the easiest way to explain it though is backswing, right? Backswing, forward swing. Arms, see? There. Backswing, forward swing. At the same time you're moving, obviously. Your job is to time it. You hear all the pros talk about timing, but once you get your head round what's actually going on with your hands in this, there's all sorts of like terminology for all these moves, but you'll see it in the video that we've released with it all kicking in and the difference it makes. So I hope you enjoyed that coverage and explanation as to what's going on. But it's amazing, phenomenal. Unfortunately, you can't really jump a stage. So stage 1, stage 2, we will learn stage 1, learn stage 2. The final stage, learning the hands. Now, a lot of people would suggest that if you just learn the hands first and then start to build up the speed between the swing and the lower half, that it's possible to do it that way. And to a degree, it probably is. But it's probably easier to learn stage 1, stage 2 and then stage 3. Not learning stage 3 and then 2, 1. But you could do it that way. Let's be honest, some people might learn it better. So you've got stage 1, 2 and 3. Final stage being the hands. Or you go 3, 2, 1. Right? 3 stages to learning this. And the simplest way, I think, to learn golf is that. And you'll have a swing that everyone will be wishing they had. You'll start getting comments like, how good is that swing? I mean, I've heard that a few times now. Steve McMahon, thanks very much. He did tell me that a couple of times on the course. So did my brother. So, my father's noticed a huge difference. Obviously, the more someone plays golf with you and realises that you've made some huge changes, actual noticeable. But more than that, you're enjoying the game, you're getting the history of the game, and you're learning all about the game through the greats of the game. I think that's the best explanation I've got about golf. That's how good golf is. But very few sports that bring you that close to the greats through learning and trying to get good at the game, play the way these guys played. Because don't write yourself off, it's completely doable. You might not hit the ball 350 yards plus off the tee, like, you know, the likes of Rory and Tiger and stuff, but you'll be near, you'll be grasping it, and you'll be enjoying it the way these guys, you know, you get the bug. So thanks for watching the Channels All for Charity. Macmillan Help the Heroes, Shelter Scotland, that's where all the ad revenue goes for the charity. So thanks for watching, and happy golfing.